ever catch yourself in the mirror and realize it's you again? The same person who promised to show up, who's actually been doing it this time. You kept your word. You built your receipts. You started to trust yourself. That's progress. But here's what happens next. Once you start trusting yourself, the killer changes his tactics. It studies your progress and learns your new language. It stops challenging your ability and starts managing your ambition. And when self-trust kicks in, the killer pivots. It doesn't argue with you about progress anymore. It manages it. It starts showing up as logic, using words like realistic or reasonable or timing. But what it's really saying is, play it safe. You start calling it balance. You say you're protecting your peace at all costs, but if you listen closely, you'll notice the pattern. The second things get uncomfortable, your mind starts offering smart-sounding reasons to slow down. It tells you to wait until it feels right, to slow down even when you're not tired, to hold back, just in case. And that sounds reasonable, even wise at some points, but all it's doing is keeping you inside that version of yourself that feels good to your nervous system. The truth is, the mind loves predictability. It will dress fear up as logic every single time if that's what keeps things familiar. And if you don't catch it, you'll start confusing being stagnant with being cautious. Psychologists call it the comfort principle, but it's really the brain's version of homeostasis. It's natural pullback to what feels familiar, even if familiar might be unhealthy. The nervous system literally relaxes when things stay predictable, so your comfort begins to feel like wisdom. You stop stretching because stability feels safer than risk. And this is where people stall. Not because they lost motivation, but because the brain has mislabeled safety as success. It's the mental version of pressing gas while in neutral. It's effort without motion. So before we break down how to move through it, notice this. The voice that used to doubt you has evolved. It now mimics your logic and keeps you steady. And that's not failure, that's proof that you've advanced to a new level of awareness. So now we just need to retrain the system to build beyond what feels safe. Once momentum builds, most people think that they have successfully broken the cycle. And what really is happening is that the brain has built a new loop, and loops crave repetition. The killer understands that. It doesn't need to stop you outright. It just needs to interrupt the new rhythm long enough for the old rhythm to take back over. And here's the science. Every time you keep a promise, your brain releases a small hit of dopamine. It's like a chemical marker for good job. Let's do that again. It's your positive reinforcements to yourself. But dopamine isn't loyalty based, it's efficiency based. Once a pattern feels predictable, the brain stops rewarding it the same way. That's when you start feeling the drag, the loss of excitement, the quiet drift into, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. It's not laziness, it's energy conservation. The killer uses that lull as a doorway. The comfort principle kicks in. The brain's threat scanner, the amygdala, reads change as risk and sends small alerts like tension in your chest, distraction, an urge to tidy up instead of handling the big thing. Those aren't random. They're your body's way of steering you back towards predictability. Now, if you push through that long enough, you'll hit the moment where your brain starts rewiring around the new behavior. That's when the killer begins to lose ground. But until those circuits hold, it keeps testing the gate. Tiny, reasonable breaks, one missed promise at a time. This is why self-sabotage can sometimes feel logical. The internal language shifts from "I can't" to "I probably shouldn't right now." The outcome is the same, motion stops, but now it feels like maturity instead of avoidance. Awareness is the first counter move. When you can name what's happening, dopamine drop, comfort principle, energy conservation, you remove the mystery from the killer's tactics. And once you name a pattern, you can measure it instead of moralize it. You're not weak. You're in withdrawal from predictability. Once you have the ability to recognize the pattern, the next step isn't punishment. It's retraining. You're not fighting the killer. You're retraining the system that it learned to grow in. The same brain that resists new behavior can be conditioned to crave it again. But it has to see proof, not promises. Start small and measurable. Behavioral experts call it habit anchoring, pairing a new behavior with one that already exists. It keeps your brain from treating the new action like a threat. For example, after your feet hit the floor in the morning, drink a glass of water. Once you pour your cup of coffee, write down a goal for the day. When you turn on the TV at night, tidy one small space, the counter, the couch, whatever's in front of you, whatever it is. Or before you brush your teeth, take 2 minutes to stretch and reset your body. Those micro actions become proof points. Quiet ways of saying, "We follow through now." Consistency creates safety, and safety makes change sustainable. The second step is variable reward, changing the payoff so your dopamine system stays engaged. Routine creates stability, but unpredictability creates interest. Mix in small changes that surprise your system. A new routine for your walk, a different time to go work out, a new playlist during one of your morning preps. The novelty keeps your brain alert and prevents comfort from turning into complacency. Third, track the data and the aftermath. Numbers show you what's real. The emotions show you what's working. Don't just write it down. Write down how you felt after you did it. Because before action, your feelings lie to you. They protect your comfort. After action, your feelings will tell you the truth. And that's when relief, pride, or energy kick in, and that's the kind of feedback your brain remembers. So record both, the action and the afterglow. You're teaching your system that follow-through feels better than avoidance. Over time, that emotional reward becomes the new motivation. And last, anchor accountability. Outside yourself, the killer thrives in isolation because no one else can see the pattern. Tell one person what you're working on, and not for validation purposes, but for observation. You're not looking for a cheerleader, you're looking for mirrors that reflect truth when your perception fogs. The more external data you build, checklist, small wins, honest feedback, the less room for the killer to be able to gaslight you, because self-doubt doesn't survive in evidence. Proof resets the system faster than motivation ever could. The goal isn't to avoid the killer, it's to make the environment so structured it has nowhere to hide. Progress isn't a mood. It's a measurable signal that your new habits are taking root. Knowing what the killer does is only half the work. Retraining means using the awareness in real time, seeing the pattern, naming it, and running the new play instead of the old one. This is what we'll call your live fire training. So step 1, we'll call this the mirror check. Once a day, take 2 minutes to record 3 quick facts. 1, what triggered the slowdown today? 2, what small action did I take anyway? 3, how did I feel after I followed through? Keep it short, no journaling marathon, just data. Over time, the triggers repeat, but the recovery gets faster. That's your new evidence. You're proving to your brain that hesitation is a sign of growth, not danger. Step 2, the 48-hour magic rule. Every 48 hours, complete one task that moves you forward, even a small one. The spacing keeps momentum alive while giving your system space to rest. It's not about intensity, it's about keeping the circuit active. Miss a window? Not the end of the world. Don't restart the plan. Mark it, adjust, and move on. Continuity beats perfection every single time. And step 3, community proof. The killer thrives in silence, so we are going to be loud. Post one short entry using this format. Today's trigger, my move, how I felt after. And tag #KillerInTheMirror so me and my team can track alongside. And remember, we're not trying to compare here, we're collecting data. As a community, the trend we are building together is proof that discipline feels better shared. Step 4, call to action. If this episode shifted something, honey, send it to somebody else who's been protecting their peace instead of protecting their growth. Tell them. Awareness is self-care too. The goal isn't to chase the killer out, it's to make growth your default environment. The mirror still shows the same face, but now it reflects evidence, not excuses. Truth be told, you're not fighting yourself anymore, you're leading yourself. Congratulations.